Hey, what's up, everybody? Pepman, that Mark, Killing the Varsity, coming at you with this week's Charlotte Conference's best to last. What a week of football last week. So many great games. And we had a lot of exams around the city and around the area. Some people that passed moved up the rankings. Some people that didn't pass kind of moved down the rankings. So we got a lot of movement this week, and you're going to see some new names and some new places. So let's jump into it from the bottom to the top. Here we go. Number 23 is Hopewell, who lost to Mallard Creek. Number 22 is Garinger, who lost to Porter Ridge. 21 is Independence, who lost to Butler. 20 is Berry, who lost to South Meck. 19 is Rocky River, lost to East Meck in overtime. 18 is R.G. Kell, who lost to Harding. 17 is Lake Norman, who lost to Mooresville. Moving up, 16 is South Meck, who won over Berry for their second win on the year. 15 is Mooresville, who won over their rival Lake Norman. 14 is West Charlotte, who lost to Vance. 13 is Olympic, who had a bye this past week. Number 12 is East Mecklenburg, winning over Rocky River in overtime. And number 11 is Porter Ridge, who won over Garinger. So, like I always say, we talk about tiers. I still think we got the same tiers here, about 23 through 11. I think Porter Ridge and East Meck are teams that are definitely in playoff contention. Olympic is on that bubble right now. West Charlotte's still in the bubble. They got to reverse that tough trend they've kind of slid into the past few weeks. Everybody else is just kind of playing for pride, and maybe if something crazy happens, they can slip into the playoff talk. But remember, we've had a reduction in playoff teams this year, with so many teams moving down to 3A. 4A is only taking 48 teams across the state in the classifications, and we can get into that in a couple weeks when we start getting into playoff teams and selections and such. All right, for the top 10, here we go. A lot of movement this week. Number 10 is West Meck, who lost to Providence. Tough game for West Meck there. I really thought that game would be closer than what it was. I was kind of surprised at the margin there. From the West Meck standpoint, they've got to get their mojo back, their timing on offense. And then on defense, they've got to find a way to just slow down the run. They've been really hurt by that in multiple games this year. I think those are the two areas they're looking to improve on going into this week's games. Number 9 is Vance, who won over West Charlotte. From the Vance perspective here, this was actually a close game for a half. I know West Charlotte was leading in the first half. And then second half looked like Vance just kind of turned it on and pulled away in the second half to take this one by a pretty wide margin. Maybe this game's kind of a microcosm of Vance. So in the first half, you get one Vance team, and in the second half, you got another one. So the big thing for them, like we always say, is consistency for this season anyway. Be consistent and continue to do your jobs well, and this team can compete with almost anyone in the city, in my opinion. Number 8 is Hickory Ridge, who lost on the road at Myers Park. I was at this game. From the Hickory Ridge perspective, offensively they're missing one of their main cogs in their running back, who had an injury. I did talk to Coach Seidel after the game. He said he's going to try to come back for the playoffs, which will definitely help their offensive attack. But the big thing for me I was impressed with was their defense. Looking at them, throughout the season, I felt like the strength of their team was the offense, but the defense really showed well. And they just really play hard-nosed, fundamentally well-coached type of football on both sides of the ball, for that matter. And, this team is here to compete, and they're going to give their all for 4 quarters every Friday night. Number 7 is North Meck, who lost to Huff, and they lost by 1 point on a 2-point conversion. And, from the North Meck perspective, Emmanuel Wilson had a huge game. I believe he had almost 200 yards rushing and a couple of touchdowns. this is a game that could have easily went either way. North had a big lead in this game, and Huff came back to win. Um, you know, Sometimes you got to learn from these types of experiences, and North is not going to have a lot of time to sulk over this one because they've got Mallard Creek this week, and we'll break that down coming up soon. Number 6 is Huff, conversely, who won this game. And, Coach Jenkins said a lot of nice things about his kids after this game. And, having seen them a couple weeks ago, they're really starting to click. They're not going to like that they were down 26-7, of course. And, they'll correct those things in practice this week. But it's a lot easier and happier to correct those things after a big comeback win. Right now they're still tied for first place in the conference, and what can you say about Kanique Monner Stewart? He got the 2-point conversion to give them the lead, which was ultimately the game-winning play, and then Jarrett Nagy on top of that, rushing for over 200 yards and then playing a lot of snaps on defense as well. Just an awesome job by those guys in this game. Number 5 is Providence. Moving up a good bit with their big win, 38-14 over West Meck. Julian Bodie had another big game on the ground, and they had some other kids step up and make plays on the offensive side of football. And that defense, that's the big thing. Shutting down the West Meck offense. They did this last year, too, in a loss. They really held them down. And I said on the forum, this seems like they have a formula to slow down that West Meck offense, which a lot of teams don't have, to be honest with you. But, there's some very intelligent people that did some research and, shared it on Twitter that Providence has played the toughest schedule in the area, at least, and then Max Preps has them as the toughest schedule in the state. So when you look at that, and then you look at, the way they're playing and winning most of their games so far, I've got them at number 5, and you could argue they could be even higher than that, given those numbers that go into it. So, Coach Bowles is doing an excellent job with that program, and we're going to look at their game at Olympic coming up here in a little bit this week. Number 4 is Myers Park with the win over Hickory Ridge, and once again I was at this game, and from the Myers Park point of view, their big story is defense. A lot of people have, of course, showcased the Myers Park offense all year long, but in this game, the Myers Park defense really stepped up and played well when their offense was kind of not clicking on all cylinders. Cameron Roseman Sinclair, the very talented young safety who's only a sophomore, came up with the game-clinching interception. And, we talked to Coach Chadwick after the game. He said some nice things about him. And then the kicker, Tyler Dameron, who hit a 41-yard field goal at the beginning of the fourth quarter to give them the lead, which they held onto throughout the game, to give them the win. Their running game, they found some ways to get both Howard and Robinson going in the run game. They ran the ball pretty well. Offensively, I think they moved the ball well from 20 to 20, but in the red zone, they like Coach Chadwick said in our interview, they just couldn't finish drives. And that's something that they're going to focus on in practice this week as they get ready to take on East Meck. Number 3 is Butler. Big win over their rival, Independence. It kind of went how we would expect it. Independence is a younger team right now, kind of in a rebuilding phase, and Butler's really starting to click. The young quarterback Peters hit some nice passes per the reports that I got. And they did their thing, especially on defense. TJ Cusick with a nice return for a touchdown. That was on several highlight shows. And Butler doing what they do as the season gets closer to the playoffs. They start clicking on both sides of the ball. And it may not look the same way as it usually does with the offensive show, but they're still starting to win in dominating fashion, which is what we normally are used to with the Bulldog program. Number 2 is Harding, winning on homecoming at home over Ardrey Kill, 40-13. And, Harding is really starting to gear up and get ready for a postseason run. Pavars Crouch is not playing as much, of course, in these more bigger margin games. They're trying to save him and his legs, which is a smart thing to do. Getting some more guys in and building their depth, which they are going to need as they go through the playoffs. But it was a really nice time to see those seniors that have really rebuilt this program get honored as they always do. I believe it was it might have been some type of honor for the seniors. I saw a lot of nice pictures. Let me put it that way. And I'm really happy for Coach Griner and all those guys doing such an awesome job over at Harding, and the fan support has been really good. And the school deserves that positive press. Great job, guys. And number one still, of course, is Mallard Creek with a big win on the road at Hopewell. Reports we got a lot of backup guys from Mallard Creek got in, got some valuable time, got some reps, which is the smart thing to do. There's no need to burn your starters out, risk injury in a big margin game like this. And they've got a big game this week when they take on North Meck. I don't think it's going to be a situation where they're going to cruise by any means. And of course, Coach Palmieri is going to, really treat this as a game to get ready and gear up for not only to win the conference but for a good playoff run. It's going to get a good test at North Meck. All right, so those are the best of last rankings for this week. Please stick with us as we'll do game previews, and we'll have those up very soon. Thank you for your support of CarolinaVarsity.com, and we definitely appreciate it. Thanks for watching.